Hi, I'm Dr. Harry Hadley with Hadley Chiropractic, and I'm going to talk about something I get asked about a lot, and that is how to sleep properly when healing so that you don't re-exacerbate the injury. And we'll start at our neck and then work our way down to the low back. Things to consider highly if you have a neck injury that you're trying to heal from is that you do not want to put yourself in a position where you're going to have your head cranked all the way to one side or the other, or too far up and down like this. Those are easily addressed by making sure that you're not falling asleep on your stomach, which I realize is a hard one. There's people out there that are stomach sleepers, and I'm not expecting you to be able to change that overnight, but I want you to focus on it. If you wake up in the middle of the night on your stomach, you need to move. When you go to bed, make sure that you're not falling asleep on the stomach. This is something you'll have to train yourself to get better at. Start off with just recognizing when you're not doing that and switching to something else. Side or back has its advantages. I prefer either of those. Stomach is really the one that you want to avoid because you can't not have your head cranked in one direction. The second thing to consider is your shoulders. So when you're sleeping, say you're on your side or on your back, you do not want to get your shoulders up above 90 degrees. When you have your shoulders up above 90 degrees, you're activating the muscles in the upper portion of your neck here that will pull up on your collarbones and compress the nerves that come down into your shoulders. It can also wreak havoc on the lower neck. So to recap, you want to make sure that you are on your back or your side and that you're keeping your shoulders down. A tip that I have for someone who likes to fall asleep like this, because that was me, is try to grab both elbows like this when you're laying on your side. It gives you that same tight feeling that I think you're looking for without having to come up above 90 degrees. If you think about the nerve coming down your arm as a rope, up here is as many kinks in that rope as you can create. And you want to have as little kinks in that rope as you can. So something like this is ideal. Also, when you're talking about the neck, you also have to consider pillows. So things to think about is that you are trying to maintain your posture the same way that you would if you're standing upright. So if I'm standing upright, I want my shoulders back, my head lined up in the middle, and straight up and down. So if I'm on my side, I want a pillow that's going to support that, and I want it to be about the width of my neck to my shoulder here. So when you're laying on your side, you don't want to have a pillow that's too small, if this is the bed, that your head is down this way, because that's going to cause compression and stretch on this side. And you also don't want a pillow that's so thick that it's going to push your head up this way, causing compression on this side and stretch on this side. So an easy way to do that is to lay down, take your phone, and take a selfie of yourself and see how your head is. Or if you have someone in the bedroom with you, ask, does my head look really jacked up this way, or am I too compressed down this way? And you can achieve that goal by folding a pillow in half, or using multiple pillows, or just getting one of these pillows that is designed to stuff either with stuffing or water to appropriately hold your head based on your specific shoulder width. So think about that significantly if you're a side sleeper. And if you are a back sleeper, you want to make sure that you don't have a pillow that's so big that you are looking down like this essentially. You do not need many pillows if you're a back sleeper. In fact, I would encourage you to get one that is fairly thin, so that your head is supported but not pressed forward. They have options like the wave pillow that everyone has seen, or the pillow with a hole in the middle of it that will give you some neck support and let you lean back without propping you forward. Another one, if you're really hurt or don't have a pillow, a good way to try is to roll up a towel and then put some hair ties around it so it's not going anywhere. Put it behind your neck and then pull down on it this way till you get to that comfortable position. So your head will be touching the mattress, but you're having some neck support there as well. Try that one. I like that one a lot, especially when you're hurting. The wave pillow and hole pillow I brought up are important because those are designed to be back sleeping pillows. If you're a side sleeper, I would encourage you to avoid those simply because you're going to have your head dip down into that spot. So that's pretty good cover for the neck. Things to think about in the low back is you want to make sure that you're not hyperextending or hyperflexing the back when you're sleeping. It's another reason to avoid being a stomach sleeper. I don't mean to attack the stomach sleepers, but it's bad for your neck and it's bad for your low back. You end up hyperextending and compressing the joint in the back, which especially if you have a hot disc injury right now, you're going to want to avoid. Back sleepers, especially if you have like that chronic or acute disc injury like I was just talking about, it's going to be hard to get comfortable no matter what. I would encourage you to try side sleeping. I would encourage you to try sleeping on your back and just picking whichever one allows you to actually sleep. If you're on your back, because it's so fragile right now, if it's acute, you're going to notice that if you flatten your back too much, like to touch the bed, that really irritates things. Icing is a good thing with acute injury. I like to take that same rolled up towel, or if you can picture like the small throw pillow that would say world's best teacher on it, that type of sized pillow. If you could put that underneath the low back, right at the belt line, I think you'll see that feels more stabilizing, a little bit more secure. And if you want to put an ice pack on top of that as you start to fall asleep, that's kind of ideal. That's the dream right there. Side sleepers though, the big thing you want to think about with a low back injury is if you need to put a pillow in between your legs, or if you need to get close to the wall or whatever so that you're not throwing your leg way over when you're on your side, that rotation can irritate these disc injuries as well. So if you are a side sleeper, make sure that you are on your side and not rotating your lower body so that it's essentially face down. Those tips should be quite helpful. If you have other concerns or questions, I would encourage us to call. Obviously, when the pain is super intense, my goal is to just sleep however you want. But long term and in this healing process, I want you to consider those things. Try to have good posture. Try not to make sure that you're waking up in the morning worse off than when you fell asleep because of the contorted posture you had at night. Questions or concerns, give us a call, and I'll see you on your next visit.